Hey family, this is another episode of the Blemish Beauty Podcast, and I am your host, Shara Renee. If this is your first time listening in, I want to thank you for tuning in, and I pray that you hear something worth holding on to. For those of you who are joining me again, welcome back. The goal of this podcast is to erase the norm and embrace the truth. We all hide behind some kind of mask. So in this space, I want you to feel free to own your scars and see the beauty within. I am a Christian influencer, a mom, an entrepreneur, a content creator, and Jesus Christ is my source in all things. And I believe that with Him, anything is possible. So with that being said, let's jump into today's episode. In episode 1, I mentioned that marriage was a part of my life plan. I also mentioned that not only did I get married, but I was 2 marriages in. I've realized that my plans should have been a little bit more specific. You really have to be careful when you ask for things, and it's important to be as specific as possible. What I should have written down was, not only did I want to get married, but I only wanted to get married once, and I wanted that marriage to be forever, and I wanted to stay married and to be happily married. Marriage is definitely not something to be taken lightly, and I believe we get so caught up in what social media shows us that we come into things ill-prepared. So in today's episode, we will talk about 5 key points that I've learned. Luke 11:9 reads, "And so I tell you, keep on asking, and you will receive what you ask for. Keep on seeking, and you will find. Keep on knocking, and the door will be open to you." So like I mentioned earlier, I asked to be married, but I didn't go into specifics. It's so much more than being married and walking down the aisle. And I need you to know that. So when you begin your search, make sure you pay attention and ask yourself questions and watch how you are being handled. Ask yourself, am I being loved properly? Am I being prioritized? Do I feel respected? And are my feelings being valued? Make sure you pray for a spouse who will not only honor you, but honor their vows. For my ladies, my prayer is that you end up with a man who will protect, provide, and love you just like God has designed him to. And for my fellas, I pray that you find a Proverbs 31 woman. This woman will cover and keep you and help you create and build a legacy that God will be pleased with. At the end of the day, it's all about what you guys can build together. Multiplication is more than just having kids. Legacy is important, and it will surpass the 2 of you. So find someone that aligns with your values and beliefs and the things that you believe in. So here are my 5 things that I've learned, and I wish I knew before getting married. Number 1, walking down the aisle is not the end goal. It is just the beginning. Most people focus so much on the wedding that they fail to prepare for the marriage. So enjoy the dating process. Really get to know the person you are taking this journey with, because forever should be a long time. And you want to not only love the person that you're attached to, but you also want to like them too. Don't get so caught up with planning for a wedding that you neglect to prepare for the pitfalls of life. Counseling is a vital tool because everyone has a past. And if you neglect to dig deep and have those tough conversations, things will come out later on in your relationship that will cause you heartbreak and or disappointment. Number two, the tangible things will come and go, but the character of that person will always remain. Don't get so swept up with how their body is or the job that they have or the amount of money that they have or even that house and that car. Make sure, like I stated before, you like who they are at the core of who they are, because they might lose that job, they might lose that car, and having kids or getting sick might change and alter their body. But if they really are a genuinely good person who brings you peace and is supportive to your dreams as well as attentive to your needs, you guys can weather any storm together. So many things will happen in the course of your life together, and you want to make sure that that person you choose will continue to choose you no matter what. So no matter what happens, you can rest in the fact that they will never stray away from you or stray to someone else, because their character will always seek godly counsel before a wolf in sheep's clothing. Number three, know who you are and where you're going before you commit your life to someone else's. Now, as women, we go through a lot of changes. We change our names and have children. Sometimes we move to a city or a state that our spouses are in if we have a long distance situation. So make sure before you walk down the aisle, you have something going for yourself other than the physical, because you can get so caught up in just being this wife and this mom. I don't want you to lose sight of who you are. Now, if that's what you want, then by all means, go ahead. And this can also go both ways, because in rare cases, there are some men that move to the city or the state of their woman and they accommodate to the woman depending on her job or if she is more economically, financially stable. Whatever the case is, make sure you have a nest egg to rest on before merging your life, because if or when the cares of life begin, you will have and you will need something to fall back on. For example, maybe it's a degree or a trade, something you can fall back on when times get rough and it causes for an additional side hustle so you can help bear the weight of what's going on. Now, fellas, here's a little tip for you. Every good woman loves a man with a plan. And ladies, in order to be the neck, you must have a stable head to follow, right? Being the neck also requires emotional support. Now, I've learned this, and this is a bonus for number three. But every man needs to feel at peace in his home and with his woman. So when the cares of life do happen, he feels safe enough and vulnerable enough to express himself when the world requires him to be tough. So the next time someone asks you, what do you bring to the table? You can mention something other than your physical attributes. Number four, what you did to get them, continue to do in order to keep them. Now this one was big for me. Personally, as a girlfriend, I was top tier. But if I'm being honest, the minute I had children, I went straight into mommy mode. Now this is an epic fail, girlies. I left my husband feeling neglected, and that was the catalyst to other things that transpired later. So, my advice to you is never stop getting cute for your man. Do your hair. Continue to love on him. Like I stated before, be his peace. Be that safe space for him to be vulnerable. Remember that when the babies come, he's still your baby too. He's number one. Fellas, continue to take wifey on those date nights. Bring home those flowers or whatever it is that she likes. Whatever it was that you guys did in the beginning during the dating phase has to remain throughout your marriage. So basically, don't start anything that you can't keep up. But always be true to yourself and who you are at the core. So then that way, the person that does choose you is choosing the right representation of you. And lastly, you cannot pour from an empty cup. Now, this could be tied to my previous point, but it's something that's very important to not lose your identity when you get married. Now, yes, you guys are one, and if you are engaged, you're becoming one. But when you get married, continue to hold on to the things that make you who you are. You cannot and will not show up every day in your authentic self if you do not continue to maintenance yourself. Think of yourself like a car. In order for this car to run properly, it needs gas, an oil change, and a tune-up every so often. You are no different. In order for you ladies to be the best wife, or husbands, in order for you to be the best husband, you have to take the time for self-care. Keep getting your hair done. Keep getting that haircut. Set time aside for friends and family. Do the things that will allow you to recharge your battery. Do the things that you did in the beginning that brought space to you guys so you have time to miss each other. Going to work is not enough. And I know when you look good, you feel good. So prioritize your mental health. And if you're with a good spouse who is attentive to your needs, they will also make sure that you prioritize yourself too. There are so many lessons that I've learned, and if you guys would like a part 2, send me an email and I'll make sure I'll come back with another one. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Flemish Beauty Podcast, and I need you to remember, you are graced and gifted for a time such as this. You are not here by accident. You have purpose in this world, and you have been created to do great and amazing things. Make sure you connect with me on Instagram and on Facebook at the Blemish Beauty Podcast, and follow me on TikTok at SharaRenee510. Until next time, spread love, show grace, and shine bright.